I love answering questions from you. You know why I like answering questions from you? Because you freaking do it. You do. I'm so freaking proud of you, Carlos, of the businessman you have turned into, the leader, the father. I freaking love working with you. Okay.
Okay. So you are our target market.
I am?
You are, yes.
Okay.
You're a woman. You're the 40-year-old that we're looking for. The decision maker for things in the home, because we do services.
Right.
So I'm Elizabeth. I just jacked up, or not jacked up, I didn't do to your standards.
Right.
How do I get you back?
That's great. That's a really good question. It's a really good question.
Because we literally have standards, and we do well at getting into the client's home, but now we're scaling, and our guys don't do so well at times. And now as a CEO, I'm like, oh crap, we're training, but we know they have to make mistakes and then learn and make it right.
Okay.
But
so
I need you back.
Yes.
You're a great client.
Yes.
And I've lost great clients. I'm like, how do I get them back?
Yes.
What can I say to you? What can I do to you to help you to want to come back?
Such a great question. Such a great question. Okay, so stay right there because I'm actually going to give you the opportunity to get me back. Okay. So I'll coach you from there. Okay, so what's your process? What are you doing? And by the way, let's pause right here. Anytime you're in growth mode, you have to understand that things are not going to be perfect, and there's a good chance that they're not going to be really good. Okay, that's how it is. And whenever you're in growth, growth creates growing pains. Okay, and the growing pains are that you lose a few, right? And the reason is because you're in the process of hiring new people that are untrained. The second thing is that you're also in the process of, the scaling process is where you find where the holes are. That's where you find where your processes are not correct or they're not simple for people to easily follow. The other thing is that it's only through the growth process that you find out where your weak places are. Okay, so growth comes with weaknesses on purpose. And what that does is it helps you to fine-tune your business. It helps you to fine-tune your model. And so it's important. And here's another thing. So on that note, that when you're communicating with your team or you're communicating with your sales force or even your family, even the family, this is where communication, again, is so hugely important. Is that you communicate to them that that's the expectation. So I could bring up any one of my staff and they can tell you how many times I've had these conversations with them of, guys, we're in the process of growing. So while we're growing, there's going to be a lot of mistakes. When we're growing, there's going to be a lot of ball drops. Yeah. When we're doing something new, we're going to see where the weaknesses are. Don't be afraid of the weaknesses. This is why it's important to give feedback and to communicate, okay? Even when, let's say that someone decided to move into a different role, a different department, the communication even with them is, listen, this is a transition, and in a transition, we expect ball drops. We expect processes that they're going to fall, things are going to drop, things are going to get a little unsettling before we find what the right path is. So don't be afraid of the mistakes. Don't be afraid of the drop perhaps in some places, but the growth in others. It's part of the process, okay? Expect that going into it. Do not expect your same perfect production when we're trying something new or when we are in a growth phase, because it's not going to be the same. Okay, so that's really important to immunize, if you will, your team and your family. Like when we all moved to Texas, I sat down with my kids multiple times, and we had feedback loops. We debriefed over and over again. Okay, how are you feeling? What's moving inside of your heart? What things do you feel we could be doing better? What would you like to see more of? Do you understand? Okay, and this is normal. You're feeling like you're missing some people. Do you understand? Or even also when there's been certain people inside of our company that needed to move on, right? Or that just needed to move on. That I prayed out of our organization, or that I had to fire, or not renew a contract, or whatever, right? And so I prepared the team in advance. especially when I had a high-level person that I was needing to let go, and it was time. And again, nobody else in the organization knows what's going on behind those closed doors and knows what the failures are inside of this particular relationship. And I don't want to tell them that either. It's none of their business. I don't want to defame the person. But I met with every single one of my staff and just said, I want you to know that we're coming to a time that sometimes there are certain things that have to shift and have to be moved. And there's certain seasons where some people have to go. And we're coming into that season right now. So I want to prepare you in advance. This individual's an awesome person, edify that person. And so these are some of the changes. So you might be feeling a little uncomfortable. What I want you to know, we're on good terms. We both have come to the place of agreement that this is not working. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with the organization, wrong with either one of the individuals. It's just time to move on. Yeah. So I want you to position your heart right. I want you to have the freedom to talk to me about how you feel about it. If you hear anybody making some assumptions as to what's going on, nip it in the bud. I told you already what is going on, and let's just keep charging on and moving forward for our vision and our mission, right? So it's really important to have that kind of communication with people. All right, and again, if you're on a growth phase, that people know up front, things are going to break, things are going to screw up, frustration is on its way. So you decide how you're going to manage that frustration, okay? All right, so stand-ups. And so I'm your customer. So talking to your guys, for example, about how they, they're new, and it's important to have grace with new people, really super important, and really super important to talk a lot to them.
First of all, what do I have? Do I have your email, your cell phone number?
You tell me what you have.
Well, no, I'm asking you.
I don't know what you have.
No, I'm saying
if I was your former customer, what do you have of me?
Typically, I have their cell phone number.
Okay.
Or their phone number
cool.
and their email. We try to have all of them. So
I want you to tell me what you're already doing or what you're going to do, and I will just fine-tune it.
Can I ask you real quick? Would
Sure.
you be willing to give your cell phone typically? You really, in real life? Because you truly are a target market, I promise. The quality of client that you are, and
so you're asking me if my electrician has my personal cell phone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, he does.
Okay, good.
Does my contractor have my cell phone? Yes, he does.
Okay, good. All right, perfect. So what we would do is once we discovered that something went wrong, that it wasn't the best experience for you,
right?
There's two ways we either handle it. Sometimes I'll have someone from our office, so it adds a little more credibility, contact you and edify me that the CEO and founder would love to meet with you and discuss the situation with your project or with what went wrong and with your experience. Would you be willing to meet with them in person? He would like to take time out of his busy schedule to come meet with you because you're very important to us.
I'm super busy. I really don't need that. No thanks.
Okay. Then I would probably I would do my best to text you personally.
That would probably get me.
And then apologize for your experience and ask.
So do it.
Okay. All right. So I would text you and just say, would you be willing to help us become more efficient and excellent in our process? No? Okay.
I'm heading to Nicaragua.
Well, first of all, I guess I would apologize.
I got a wedding on the 19th. I got a seminar on the 19th. I have a family reunion on the 12th. I have a wedding on the 25th.
Do you have time for a 2-minute phone call?
And then I'm off to Portland, Oregon, and then Hawaii.
No.
Don't ask me.
Oh, okay.
Don't ask me.
So a lot of times our experience is when we call, they don't answer. So
if you're going to send me a text, what are you going to say?
I'm going to apologize.
And what I'm saying is quit beating around the frickin' bush.
Yeah.
And get to the darn point. If I'm your target market, I ain't got time for that.
Right. True. Yeah.
Does anyone else have time for that? No. It's not honoring.
And that's true about our clients too, for sure. They don't have time. So it's just...
What would your text message say?
Apologizing for what we did wrong.
What would your text message say?
Hi, this is Carlos. I'm CEO and one of the founders.
So what?
And I want to take time to apologize for your bad experience.
Quit telling me what you're going to do and just do it.
Okay. All right.
Do you understand?
Okay.
I would like to take the time to apologize to you. Just freaking apologize.
Yeah. I'm sorry for your bad experience.
Thank you. Do you understand? Don't beat around the bush. Like, in other words, you're creating more processes than what is necessary. Okay, so just like get to it.
Okay.
Right?
So as
Rather
soon
than
as I
having
find
somebody else
out-
call to edify, no need to do that.
So, yeah, okay.
So as soon as you find out that there was a bad experience,
immediately within 24 hours, text you and say,
I just
really
heard
want to apologize. I just found out. It
that
just
you
came to
were
my attention.
mistreated
Yes, ma'am.
by someone on my staff, and this makes me sick to my stomach. I am so very sorry. I value you so much, and I cannot believe this has happened to you. I want you to know that I am taking all measures that are necessary to make sure that never happens to you again. We are going to make this good to you. And I don't know what you can do, whether it's not charge them for something, do you know what I mean? Give them, I would like to not be charged for something
definitely.
that I got that isn't right? Not only not be charged, but do it again for no cost, if that is all possible, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So that's what I would be saying.
Absolutely. And we feel that way. We'd be willing to lose money
You
to
should.
keep you as a client.
You absolutely
no
should
charge,
lose money.
come
You
back
should
and
lose
take care
money.
of it.
You should lose money, and you should take care of it, and you will have me raving about you.
Okay.
You will have me raving about you.
So, I'm Elizabeth. I just texted you that. What
a
would your
done
next
deal.
step be? Yes, meet with me, come back, send your guy back, or how would you do it?
My response would be, probably my response would be, wow, that's amazing. So if at the end of that text message, it would be, first of all, try to call them first and just say, Danny, I just tried calling you. It was me that tried calling you. I just found out that you were thoroughly mistreated by someone on my staff, and this makes me sick to my stomach. I am so sorry. I value you so much. You have been such a faithful client, and I cannot believe this has happened, and we're going to do everything in our power to make this right for you. Number one, we're not going to charge you. Is there any way I can talk to you so that I can make this right with you?
Okay.
And right there, they say, yes, call me now or whatever.
Okay.
All right?
And then call you?
And then call me, and then just say, what happened?
Okay.
What
Ask
happened?
questions.
And then,
What happened?
yes, what happened? And
How
say,
can we
don't
do a
hold
better job?
Don't hold anything back.
Okay.
Tell him that. Don't hold anything back. You tell me exactly what has happened.
Can I please role play with you then? And really go through this experience because it matters how you answer. Like, okay, what happened in this situation from
Let me
Elizabeth?
tell you this. What matters, sorry, my shirt is, there we go. What matters is what your clients are going to say, because each client's going to say something different. So even role-playing with me is not necessarily going to help you. So just me giving you that text message, and again, watching your process, Carlos, my hunch is that you guys probably have a few processes that are just too many steps, right? And too many steps create mistakes. Okay, so, and if you're running around the block a little bit to try to get to something, there's a good chance your people are running around the block to get to something also. So I would be going home to streamline communication and processes, okay? Now, I understand the whole edification thing, I get that, but if it's a long way around to get something done, there's no need for it, especially if a customer's been harmed. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If the customer's been wronged, you attack that fast. You jump on that fast. And so I think the text message that I gave you is a great start, and you communicate from your heart, right? That customer is 100% right. 100% right. Like, I am so sorry. This is terrible. I want to fix this right now, and I want to know, like, what could we have done better besides everything? Right. You know what I mean? Because this sucks, and this is wrong, and I hate it when it happens to me. Right? So oftentimes people just try to give excuses, or they try to defend themselves, or they assume the customer's just trying to get something for nothing. Yeah. Don't make those assumptions. Don't make those assumptions.
How do we gain trust and confidence back with
you do with that text message already. You've already brought me on the bridge to trusting you. And then when you say, tell me what happened.
And should I send Elizabeth back? Or should I send someone new?
To be honest with you, that would be... I think some people, I think if you were to ask me that question.
So I would ask you that then. That's
I think I would be uncomfortable if Elizabeth came back. Okay. Yeah, I would be uncomfortable. I'd feel bad for her, honestly. I would feel uncomfortable, so I would say somebody new.
Because we had this almost identical scenario, and we did send them back where we told the client that we really wanted them to learn and to get better.
Listen
to
to
do
me.
it
Hold
right.
it.
Okay.
I don't give a rip what you want your employee to do.
Okay.
And I don't give a rip, meaning as a customer,
Yeah.
okay, not as your coach. As a customer, I could care less what you're trying to do.
Okay.
Just make it right with me.
Right.
Do you understand? So that you want to teach your person, that's not, I don't care about that. That doesn't matter to me. Just fix it.
Right.
Makes sense?
Okay, so it would be better probably to send someone else.
It would be better to send
I
somebody
actually
else.
went with them to kind of help.
I wouldn't do that.
Wouldn't?
Wouldn't
Okay.
do that.
Okay.
I
So
mean,
someone new.
great that I would definitely send somebody new, and or you go yourself. I'm coming over. I'm going to
Yeah,
fix
I've
this
done that
myself.
too,
Yeah. That's totally impressive, and that's great service. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
If this episode was an encouragement to you, go to DannyJohnson.com and share it with your friends now. You never know who else needs to hear it. This has been The Danny Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help